Newshour Special Edition.
Hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching Newshour Special Edition this Sunday evening with me, Priya Bahal. And the top story today comes in from Karnataka, where for the first time today, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has responded to Congress MP Rahul Gandhi's persistent and repeated criticism of status of democracy in India, from saying that it is under attack to saying that it is being threatened to saying that several institutions that are an important and integral part of the establishment have been captured. Rahul Gandhi had also surmised that democracy in India is dead. Today, Prime Minister Narendra Modi says that all this is nothing but an inside. Our viewers, what was the persistent tirade that Congress calls criticism of India and its democracy that Rahul Gandhi had indulged in offshore?
How would you react if democracy suddenly disappeared in Europe? Right? You'd be shocked and you'd be like, oh my God, that's a massive blow to democracy. Well, how would you react if something, a structure 3.5 times Europe suddenly went non-democratic? Right? That's happened already. That's not something that is going to happen in the future. That's already happened. So-called defenders of democracy, which are the United States, European countries, seem to just be oblivious that a huge chunk of the democratic model has come undone, right? Which is a real problem.
That an Indian political leader can give a talk in Cambridge University, Harvard University, but he can't give a talk in India, in a university in India. Right? And the reason is that our government simply does not allow any idea of the opposition, any concept of the opposition to be discussed.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's response today has reignited the war of words that has been going on over the last roughly 10 days on what is the status of democracy in India, what has Modi done to it, and what is the opposition doing to it. Today, remarking on the same controversy, UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath also lashed out at Rahul Gandhi. He said, when India's dominance on global
वहीं दूसरी तरफ कुछ लोग हैं जो भारत को वैश्विक मंच पर वह सम्मान नहीं देना चाहते। वे हमेशा जब भारत के बाहर रहते हैं तो दुनिया में जाके भारत की क्रिटिसाइज करते हैं, भारत की आलोचना करते हैं, भारत के लोकतंत्र को कोसते हैं। और कोसने वाले कौन लोग हैं? जिन लोगों ने स्वयं जब उन्हें अवसर मिला था लोकतंत्र के गले को घोंटने में कोई कसर नहीं छोड़ी।
While Yogi Adityanath today only alluded to it, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar did not mince any words when he said that it was in the era of emergency that opposition and dissent was being silenced, not now as is being alleged by Rahul Gandhi. Remember, Rahul Gandhi had also said that in Indian Parliament, mics of opposition leaders are being turned off.
आज जब अपना भारत बहुत ऊपर जा रहा है, कुछ लोगों ने ठान ली है कि हमें भारत की प्रतिष्ठा को कुंठित करना है। लोकसभा बहुत बड़ी पंचायत है जिनमें आज तक माइक ऑफ नहीं हुआ है और कोई बाहर जाकर कहता है कि इस देश में माइक ऑफ होता है। कैसे बर्दाश्त कर सकते हैं? छाती पर कितना सांप लौटता होगा। हां, देश के अंदर संकट आया था इमरजेंसी के दौरान, माइक भी बंद हुई थी, जेल में उन लोगों को रख दिया गया जो राष्ट्र भावना से प्रेरित थे। वो दिन अब कभी नहीं आ सकता।
The Prime Minister today reminding that when questioning the democracy and its status in India is not taking jabs who have voted to bring his party in power. Does that sentiment hold true, or is it just another narrative, as Rahul Gandhi has been alleging, that is being spun by the BJP. To help us understand the details, I'm now joined by Tuhin Sinha of the BJP, Gargi Nandi Roy, political analyst, also on the broadcast, Kamru Choudhary of the Congress party is with us, Pankaj Sharma, who's a political analyst, and Ravi Srivastav, political analyst, also joining us on Newshour tonight. My first question to you, Mr. Kamru Choudhary, do you agree with the Prime Minister when he says that when somebody as responsible as Rahul Gandhi, whose several generations of his family have been those who've governed India, they have been voted to power, says that democracy is dead in India, he's actually doing a disservice to the discerning citizens of the country?
Yeah, Priya, on the first outset, let me just remind our Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji and his Bhakt Mandali that criticism of Narendra Modi's government, his policies and his objective of crushing the opposition is not opposing India at any chance. Let me cite you some instance why I say this. The law minister of our country tries to bully the judiciary. Opposition mics are muted and their comments expand from the greatest mother of democracy, Panchayat, that is the parliament. You have got agencies which are being selectively used as an extended department of the Bharatiya Janata Party to crush and silence the opposition in the country. You have got people's houses being bulldozed across the country for just because they dare to oppose the government's policies and its laws. You have got social media voices being stifled. You have got journalists getting behind bars just because they wanted to cover stories which are not inimical to the government's objectives. These are some of the instances that I am laying out here. Okay. Secondly, most important, you have got the Honorable Prime Minister of India, when he goes out on a foreign soil, he minces no words in criticizing the country's opposition. Is that not putting country's democratic viewpoint on a bad scale to the people in the world, to the other countries? At that time, it doesn't matter that Rahul Gandhi is speaking.
Okay, let's take it one by one. You've made two counters.
Why is the Prime Minister so riled about Rahul Gandhi's comments on it?
Let's take it one by one, Mr. Choudhary.
Why is it? Point-wise, I want a rebuttal from the BJP.
Yes, Tuhin Sinha, before you forget the questions that are being posed, let's go one by one. First of all, when Prime Minister does it on foreign soil, it is okay, but Rahul Gandhi can't criticize India.
You know, Priya, first of all, I have an objection to the word Bhakt Mandali. It is Desh Bhakt Mandali, which Desh Drohis will not understand, because what Rahul Gandhi has done abroad amounts to treason. He has not criticized India. Do you imagine him calling out a Sikh gentleman? Please keep quiet, have the basic courtesy, don't behave like Rahul Gandhi over here. Don't behave like Rahul Gandhi over here. Please keep quiet.
Okay,
Can you imagine Rahul Gandhi pointing to a Sikh gentleman and saying that look at you, even Sikhs are. Right. Can you ask him to not behave like Rahul Gandhi?
We'll have a civil debate over here. Mr. Kamru Choudhary was given the floor first. Let's Tuhin Sinha respond and we'll come back to you.
Priya, yes. Can you imagine, Priya, Rahul Gandhi calling out to a Sikh gentleman and saying that, look at you, even Sikhs are ill-treated, they are also second-class citizens in this country. Can you believe that this sort of a comment can be made by an Indian leader abroad, which is obnoxious, which is completely false? And this is where the Congress criticism amounts to treason. As the Modi has a problem with democracy abroad, there is a fundamental disconnect with Indian ethos. Let me explain to you with a contemporary example. What is democracy? Democracy is about creating equal opportunities and respecting people's choices. The classic example of this is Smriti Iraniji fighting from Amethi, losing the election in 2014, trying harder and winning the elections, while Rahul Gandhi was completely disconnected from his own constituency. So India has a robust democracy. The same example today applies in the Northeast.
Okay, Pankaj
Congress
Sharma
is completely wiped out because of their...
Pankaj Sharma, when Rahul Gandhi says that democracy is dying, it's probably born out of despondency, because it is the support for the Congress that is dying, which is being perceived as death of democracy in India.
In India has certainly shrunk. Even in Parliament, it has shrunk very, very gravely. If you look at the records of the Parliament, how much Prime Minister Narendra Bhai Modi respects the parliament is evident from the fact that he has spent 14 hours in the Lok Sabha and 10 hours in the Rajya Sabha every year on an average. This is what his record. Now, come to other aspects. See, there is something called short duration discussion on very important matters. Even during Atal Bihari Vajpayee's government, he allowed 59 short duration discussion in the parliament. Narendra Bhai Modi's government had only allowed 6 short duration discussion in Lok Sabha since 2019. So this is shrinking the space of democracy.
Look at the numbers that Rahul Gandhi has in terms of his attendance. He's got 52% attendance when the national average is 79% and the average for Kerala MPs is 84%. So even in the time being given, it's not like Rahul Gandhi is presenting himself and raising any fruitful questions. So how does the talk of silencing him come when he's not speaking up in the first place?
Prime Minister Narendra Bhai Modi. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru used to attend the parliament every day. Indira Ji used to attend the parliament every day.
No, but
Rajiv Gandhi used to parliament at least twice a week.
So
there is one thing called Prime Minister's question hour. Once a week, Prime Minister has to reply to questions raised by the members of the parliament.
So is it about the questions being answered, or is it about the questions being answered by the Prime Minister himself?
9 years. Has Narendra Modi replied to any of the questions in the last 5 years? All the time. His PMO, MOS and PMO replies the questions.
Gargi Nandi Roy,
all the Prime Ministers...
You are opaque to criticism and you are opaque to accountability, and the BJP government and Prime Minister is opaque to accountability as well, because Rahul Gandhi as an opposition leader has all the right to raise questions, but where is the Prime Minister to answer them? And which is why he tries to portray every attack, every criticism as attack on India instead of Modi.
Okay, thank you for calling me, Now, please don't disturb. Priya, the thing is today, Mr. Modi has become the symbol of positivism and dynamism in politics. And Rahul Gandhi is rattled because, he's realizing that Congress is losing its electoral resonance or relevance, and that's why he's rattling. He's really rattling. So what Rahul Gandhi is doing, majority of Indians, even here and in the Indian diaspora in UK, are not liking it. Having said that, let me answer the Congress people. I think that under the Congress rule, the worst abuse of democracy has been seen. Recently, I'll quote an incident from Chhattisgarh. A person he just made a FB post on frequent interruption of power, and what was done to him? He was charged with sedition and jail because criticizing the Bhupesh Baghel government. And obviously everybody knows about the greatest suspension of civil liberties during the emergency time. And Rahul Gandhi is forgetting that it is Mr. Nehru who brought the first amendment to curb free speech. The Press Objectionable Act was brought in 1951. To penalize abuse of freedom of press. And who was not jailed? Masroor Sultanpuri was jailed because of writing a poem criticizing Nehru. Mr. Dharampal and his associates were charged with sedition for...
We will get your point, and Ravi Srivastava wants to come in. He's been very patiently listening. Mr. Srivastava, is it a case of pot calling kettle black?
Emergency time, Kishore Kumar was banned. The number of books banned by the Congress.
Yes, we've got the drift of your argument.
From recent time, I guess. So please.
Mr. Srivastava, please respond.
Thank you, madam. I was waiting for the lady to finish up her monologue. You see, the situation is such for today, justifying the democracy, the BJP has to rely upon the emergency of 1975, that is 50 years before. So my question here is that where is democracy? It is dead. 95% of the cases are being made against the opposition leaders. I did not discuss.
Miss Roy, let him make his point, otherwise we won't be able to decipher anything. We'll give you time to counter it. Yes, Mr. Srivastava.
Yeah.
No, I said, I just quoted Chhattisgarh. It's a recent event,
You keep Chhattisgarh with you, I'm not taking away. See, the issue here is that 95% cases are being made against the opposition leaders. They are being arrested. The ministers are in jail for no reason. And for 8.40 crore rupees, cash recovered, the person still stands to be a BJP member, a BJP MLA in Karnataka.
Sir.
So why all these double standards?
Right.
Everything is
Sir.
with 24, at least 24 people who were culprit in the Congress party, taken away by BJP, sent to the Washington.
Mr. Srivastava.
And the cases have been sent to the court.
Mr. Srivastava, how is that killing the democracy? I am not even going into the defense of the minister if he's of the BJP leader. If he's indulging in corruption, there will be probe. Lokayukta is probing, and the law will take its own course. I'm saying, what is your point? How is democracy dying in all this?
The question mark that what Rahul Gandhi said there was one lady who stood up and whose father was working for RSS. And she stood up and said during his meeting that I don't know what is wrong in India, why all these kind of things are happening here. She questioned it, the person who was in RSS, her father. So
yeah.
Here is that we say that China is a stronger China. Our Prime Minister has not uttered two words in last several years. One is Adani, other is China.
Would you like to weigh in on that particular point? Even an RSS functionary's daughter is saying...
Can I come in?
Mr. Srivastava...
That China is
Mr. Srivastava...
Mr. Srivastava, we'll take it one by one. Let's take your RSS pointer and we'll come back to you.
Mr. Srivastava,
yes.
allow me. Mr. Srivastava has selective memory because in one of the press conferences in London, Rahul Gandhi, he also met a journalist, an aged person probably in his 80s, who reminded him about his grandmother, who after being jailed during emergency when she came to London and she was asked to comment on what happened during, when Morarji Desai was the Prime Minister, she said, I'm not going to discuss internal matters over here. And he specifically told Rahul Gandhi that I expect the same from you. And that is the moot point over here. I don't know who that lady was, whether she was planted, but the moot point over here is that you cannot demean, you cannot denigrate India abroad. You are impinging on India's sovereignty, and as an elected member of parliament, you are bringing disgrace to your
and also,
position
I
as
would
an
think that criticism is criticism should always be welcome, which is an integral part of a democracy. It only helps make things better. But Kamru Choudhary, if the
Congress they can't understand something as basic as this.
No, but if the democracy is dying in India, or if Rahul Gandhi is to be believed is already dead, उन्होंने तो मर्सिया पढ़ ही दिया है democracy का, तो फिर ऐसा क्यों है कि right about the time when Rahul Gandhi was preaching and shedding tears for the death of democracy, Congress actually managed to win elections in India, despite, as Mr. Ravi Srivastava says, ED has been let loose, CBI has been let loose, all agencies are being misused, judiciary is captured, media is captured. Why is Congress still winning 3 by-poll seats? I think they performed very well in the by-polls.
Priya, let me just differentiate one thing for the benefit of our viewers. Winning elections is a different issue altogether. Preserving the ethos of the constitution is absolutely different thing. As it is, we all know India has become an electoral autocracy. Now the question that has come out of your debate today is, why did Rahul Gandhi criticize Narendra Modi outside India? Let me cite you and I will take 10 seconds from you.
Actually, sir, let me rephrase the question. The question is not...
2015.
No, we've discussed the question, why did he criticize offshores? But today the question is not my question. It has been put by the Prime Minister that when you say democracy is dead, you are insulting the people. The same people who have been voting for you for decades and some of them are still voting for you. You are saying that those people are the ones who are now being discredited, that their vote doesn't matter because India is an autocracy and everything has been captured. Their discretion has no value. That is the question. Please go on.
Can I reply? You know, Tuhin Sinha put it very nicely today. Tuhin Sinha replied it in very nice way that India is no longer an electoral democracy. It has become a spiritual democracy. You know the lethal mix of this spiritualism or the Ram Rajya that Tuhin Sinha wants.
Did he say that?
You said it spiritual.
When did
You said
India is
spiritual
always
democracy.
a spiritual democracy.
Please, Priya,
which people like you will not understand.
I said that the difference between spiritual democracy
I
and
never said India is not an electoral democracy.
is the difference between you want to project that I want to perceive about my democratic India. That is the difference between your spiritual democracy and my understanding of democracy in India. India's democracy
So you don't believe in the teachings of Lord Basheshwar? You don't believe in the teachings of, you don't believe in the concept of Ram Rajya?
It's not
when
that
I
the Prime
say India
Minister
is a
will go
spiritual
and
democracy, I am only invoking the teachings of democracy which date back to thousands of years.
Wait, to ही ना, just hold on. Mr. Kamru Choudhary, I'm sorry, for a lay person like me, can you please help me understand the difference between a spiritual democracy and an electoral democracy, because I am unable to understand the difference.
Yes, absolutely. The very wonderful topic that Treason had raised about spiritual democracy. My understanding of democratic India is different from understanding of democracy that he calls spiritual democracy that is now in being in India. Everything about democracy is all about the Hindu Rashtra right now. And it is not the constitution of India that we all believe to. And we try to and we swear to by the constitution to be preserved. Is the spiritual democracy, the rights of the Hindutvadis over the other communities in India, the subjugation of the oppressed, the minorities and the downtrodden. That is the spiritual democracy that we
How are only Hindus going to vote? You've seen from Hindi heartland to tribal
let me cite one
states.
example.
No. How is this Hindutva democracy all of a sudden? Tribals have voted for Narendra Modi and his party in the northeast. Muslims have voted for him in Gujarat elections. What do you mean by Hindutva democracy?
No. Priya, your understanding.
Priya,
your understanding of the northeast politics is very different from what I understand. In Meghalaya, 66 or 31.
Tell him something.
Sir,
really
okay.
Wait, let me finish.
Of any democracy, but so far it looks like the way Congress has been shrinking, their agenda is not echoing with the voters. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me and Gargi Nandi Roy. We take a very quick break.
The News Hour Special Edition.